Setting your foundation. Negotiation begins with a clear mind. Pinpoint your core needs versus your preferences before any talk. When sorting out a family schedule, your must-have might be a plan everyone can stick to, while a specific activity is just a nice-to-have. Knowing this sharpens your focus and frees you to bend where it counts. A firm grasp of priorities holds you steady. Imagine dividing tasks with a roommate. You might insist on fairness but stay open to who handles what. Jot down your deal breakers and areas you can flex. This roadmap steadies you, even when talks grow tense. Clarity about your needs keeps distractions at bay. Picture discussing a budget with your partner. Your core need might be covering essentials, while your preference is extra savings. This distinction helps you stay calm, avoiding sidetracks that muddy the conversation. Preparation also means anticipating hurdles. When planning a group event, think about potential conflicts, like differing schedules. List your goals and fallback options. A clear foundation is like a lighthouse, guiding you through stormy negotiations. Start by reflecting on past talks. Recall a moment when a discussion veered off course. Maybe you chased a minor detail, like a specific time, and lost sight of the bigger goal, like agreement. Write down what you truly needed then versus what you merely wanted. This exercise builds a habit of clarity that anchors every future conversation. Next, consider the other side's perspective, even briefly. If you're negotiating chores with a family member, think about their routine. Are they swamped with work or school? This insight helps you prioritize your asks, focusing on what's realistic and achievable. Another step is setting realistic expectations. When organizing a friends gathering, your need might be a time everyone can make, but expecting a perfect venue might be a stretch. Rank your goals to stay grounded, placing essentials above preferences. Visualization strengthens this tactic. Before a talk, close your eyes and picture the outcome you want. If you're discussing a project with colleagues, imagine a fair task split that leaves everyone satisfied. This mental rehearsal keeps your needs in focus, like a North Star guiding your words. Practice stating your priorities aloud to build confidence. Try, I need us to agree on a plan that works for everyone. In a family meeting, voicing your core need clearly sets a strong tone, signaling you're focused but open to ideas. Over time, this habit becomes second nature. You'll enter every conversation knowing exactly what you're aiming for, ready to flex without losing your footing. A strong foundation turns chaotic talks into structured, productive exchanges. Think of it like packing for a trip. You prioritize essentials, clothes, toothbrush, before adding extras like a favorite book. In negotiation, your needs are the essentials. Pack those first, and the extras can follow if there's room. This approach also helps you stay calm under pressure. When a discussion heats up, like a debate over family plans, your clear priorities act like an anchor, keeping you from drifting into arguments over minor details. Try this in small moments. Next time you're planning dinner with friends, pause to list your must-haves, like a time that works, versus wants, like a specific restaurant. This clarity shapes your pitch, making it easier to reach agreement. Anticipating objections is another key. If you're negotiating a favor with a neighbor, consider why they might hesitate. Maybe they're busy. Have a backup plan, like offering to help them later. This preparation shows respect and keeps talks moving. Research supports this approach. Studies show that negotiators who clarify their goals beforehand reach agreements 20% faster. By knowing your foundation, you avoid wasting energy on unimportant points, like chasing a perfect outcome when good enough will do. Build this skill by starting small. Before a casual talk, like deciding a movie with friends, note one need and one want. Practice sticking to your need while staying open on the want. This trains you to stay focused in bigger negotiations. You can also use a simple framework: 3 priorities, 1 non-negotiable. When discussing a group project, your non-negotiable might be a fair workload, while your other priorities, like timing or roles, can flex. This keeps your focus razor sharp. In family settings, this tactic shines. Picture a discussion about holiday plans. Your non-negotiable might be spending time together, but the location or activities can shift. Stating this upfront, like, I want us to connect wherever we are, sets a clear path. Another trick is to revisit your foundation mid-talk. If a conversation stalls, pause and ask yourself, what do I really need here? This recenters you, like a compass pointing true north, helping you steer back to your core goals. Practice this in everyday moments. When negotiating bedtime with a child, your need might be a consistent routine, while the exact time can flex. Knowing this lets you compromise without losing what matters. Over weeks, this clarity builds confidence. You'll walk into talks, from family debates to workplace discussions, with a mental map of what you're after. That's the power of a strong foundation. It's the bedrock of every successful negotiation. The empathy card. Empathy opens doors to agreement. Slip into the other person's perspective to sense their needs and emotions. If a friend hesitates over a shared plan, consider their workload or stress. Seeing their world reveals paths to solutions that work for both. Research shows empathy boosts cooperation by 30%. Picture a child pushing back on bedtime. Acknowledge their tiredness or fears before proposing a routine. Empathy isn't about giving in. It's a spark that lights mutual respect, easing tension. Empathy also helps read unspoken signals. When a colleague seems guarded about a deadline, notice their tone or hesitations. Maybe they're juggling too much. Offer a solution that respects their limits, like a staggered timeline. This builds trust, turning walls into bridges. Start by observing body language. In a family discussion, if someone crosses their arms, they might feel defensive. Acknowledge their mood with, "I sense this is tough for you." This small act softens the conversation, inviting openness. Listen for emotional cues. If a partner repeats, "I'm just tired," they're signaling more than fatigue. Respond with, "Let's make this easier for you." This shows you're tuned in, fostering a connection that paves the way for agreement. Practice empathy by asking yourself what drives the other person. Before negotiating a favor with a neighbor, consider their day. Are they rushed? Tailor your request to fit their reality, like keeping it quick and simple. Validating feelings is another technique. When a teen resists a rule, say, "I get that this feels unfair." This doesn't mean agreeing but shows you see their side, making them more open to compromise. Empathy requires patience. If a friend snaps during a planning talk, don't snap back. Pause, breathe, and consider their stress. A calm response like, "Let's find a way that works," keeps things on track, turning friction into collaboration. Build this skill by reflecting after conversations. Ask yourself, did I understand their emotions? After a family talk, note what you picked up. Were they stressed, excited, or withdrawn? This sharpens your ability to connect. Empathy also means staying curious. When a colleague explains their side, listen to learn, not to counter. Ask yourself, what's driving their stance? This mindset uncovers insights that lead to better outcomes. Try this in small moments. Next time you're discussing dinner plans with friends, notice their tone. If someone sounds hesitant, say, "Seems like you've got a lot going on. What's on your mind?" This opens a door to understanding. Research backs this up. Studies show that negotiators who show empathy resolve conflicts 15% faster. By seeing the other person's world, you find solutions that feel fair, like adjusting a plan to ease their stress. Another trick is mirroring emotions subtly. If a partner is excited about a plan, match their energy with enthusiasm. If they're calm, keep your tone steady. This alignment builds rapport, making them feel you're on the same wavelength. In family settings, empathy is a game changer. Picture a debate over holiday plans. If someone's stressed, say, "I can see this is overwhelming. Let's simplify it." This shows care, making them more willing to work with you. Practice by starting with one person. In your next talk, focus on their emotions, not just their words. If a child is upset, notice their frustration before responding. This habit makes empathy a natural part of your negotiations. Over time, empathy becomes a reflex. You'll sense what others feel, from a colleague's pressure to a friend's excitement, and use it to guide talks. That's the power of the empathy card. It turns strangers into allies and disagreements into opportunities. Clear and kind. Speak your truth with warmth and precision. Lay out your needs openly but gently. When splitting duties with a team, try, "I'd love us to share these tasks evenly to keep things smooth." This invites collaboration while keeping respect at the core. Straight talk clears the fog. Studies say direct communication cuts conflict time by 25%. Imagine planning a group outing. Pitch a clear idea, like a specific time, but welcome others' input. A kind tone keeps the door open, even when stakes feel high. Kindness doesn't mean weakness. Picture discussing a favor with a neighbor. Say, "I'd really appreciate your help, and I'm happy to return the favor." This is firm yet friendly, setting a positive tone that encourages agreement. Rehearse your words to sound natural. If you're negotiating chores with a partner, practice, "Let's balance this so we both feel good." This preparation makes your delivery smooth, ensuring your message lands with confidence. Clarity means avoiding vague terms. When discussing a family plan, don't say, "Whatever works." Instead, try, "I'd prefer a time that fits everyone's schedule." This sets a clear direction, guiding the conversation forward. Pair clarity with positive framing. If you're sorting project roles with colleagues, say, "Let's assign tasks to play to our strengths." This keeps the mood upbeat, encouraging teamwork and reducing resistance. Handle pushback with grace. If a friend disagrees on plans, respond, "I hear you. Let's find a middle ground." This keeps things constructive, avoiding defensiveness that can derail talks. Practice by writing down your key points before a talk. For a family meeting, note, "I want a fair plan we all agree on." This keeps your words focused and kind, even when emotions run high. Another technique is using I statements. When discussing a group decision, say, "I feel we'd all benefit from a clear plan." This expresses your need without sounding demanding, fostering openness. In tense moments, pause before speaking. If a colleague challenges your idea, take a breath and say, "I'd like us to find a way that works for both." This pause keeps your tone kind, preventing escalation. Research supports this approach. Studies show that clear, respectful communication increases agreement rates by 20%. By being direct yet warm, you create a space where others feel safe to share their views. Try this in everyday talks. When negotiating dinner plans with friends, say, "I'd love to meet at 6, but I'm open to what works for you." This clarity and kindness invite collaboration, making agreement easier. In family settings, this tactic shines. Picture a debate over chores. Say, "I'd appreciate if we could split these tasks fairly." This is direct but respectful, setting a tone that encourages teamwork. Build this skill by practicing in low-stakes moments. Next time you're discussing a small decision, like a movie night, state your preference clearly and kindly. This habit strengthens your ability to handle bigger talks. Over time, clear and kind communication becomes your default. You'll navigate conversations, from family plans to workplace discussions, with a tone tone that builds trust and drives agreement. That's the power of speaking with warmth and precision. Active listening. Listening is your sharpest tool. Tune into the other person's words, tone, and silences to catch their real priorities. If a colleague emphasizes timing, they're waving a flag about what matters. Shape your response to align with that insight, like suggesting a faster plan. Reflecting their thoughts shows you're engaged. Try saying, "Sounds like timing is key. Let's find a plan that fits." Data suggests active listening doubles agreement odds. It flips a tug-of-war into a dance where everyone feels seen. Notice subtle cues. Picture a friend stressing over a group decision. Their repeated mention of stress hints at deeper concerns. Respond with, "Let's make this as easy as possible." This shows you're paying attention, building trust. Stay present during talks. In a family discussion, resist planning your reply while they speak. Focus on their words and tone. Echo their main point, like, "I hear you want this to be simple." This validation opens the door to solutions. Paraphrasing is powerful. If a partner says, "I'm overwhelmed," restate, "It feels like you've got a lot on your plate." This shows you understand, making them more open to your ideas. Practice by summarizing after talks. After a colleague's input, note what you heard. They value speed. This sharpens your listening skills, helping you catch nuances in future negotiations. Active listening means staying curious. When a team explains their side, listen to learn, not to counter. Ask yourself, what's driving their stance? This mindset uncovers insights that lead to better outcomes. Try this in small moments. Next time you're discussing plans with friends, focus on their tone. If someone sounds hesitant, say, "Seems like something's on your mind. Want to share?" This invites openness, deepening the conversation. Research backs this up. Studies show active listening reduces conflict duration by 30%. By truly hearing the other person, you find solutions that align with their needs, like adjusting a plan to ease their concerns. Another trick is noting emotional shifts. If a family member's voice softens, they might be opening up. Respond with, "I appreciate you sharing that. Let's work with it." This reinforces trust, keeping the talk productive. In group settings, listening is critical. Picture a family debate over plans. If someone repeats a concern, like convenience, acknowledge it. "I see convenience is big for you." This shows you're engaged, encouraging others to listen too. Build this skill by practicing silence. In your next talk, pause after the other person speaks. This gives you time to process their words and respond thoughtfully, like, "I hear you. Let's find a way forward." Over time, active listening becomes a reflex. You'll catch the unspoken needs in a colleague's sigh or a friend's pause, using them to guide talks. That's the power of listening. It turns conversations into partnerships. Framing for success. How you present an idea shapes the conversation. Framing means choosing words that guide the dialogue your way. When discussing a family budget, say, "Let's plan this to give us all some breathing room." This sets a shared, positive goal that invites agreement. Framing shifts mindsets. Studies show well-framed proposals increase acceptance by 20%. Picture negotiating a deadline with a coworker. Instead of, "I need this sooner," try, "Let's set a timeline that keeps us both on track." This fosters teamwork. Reframe objections to keep things moving. If a partner calls a plan costly, say, "Let's see this as an investment in our joy." This shifts focus from loss to gain, making agreement feel natural and appealing. Test different frames. When planning with friends, pitch a suggestion as a win. This spot lets us all relax. A strong frame is like a lens, focusing the talk on shared success rather than conflict. Framing also means highlighting benefits. If you're discussing rules with a team, say, "This gives you more freedom in the long run." This makes your idea appealing, not restrictive, encouraging buy-in. Practice by reframing a past talk. Recall a disagreement and try a new angle. "How could I have pitched this as a team goal?" This builds your framing muscle, preparing you for future negotiations. Another technique is using inclusive language. When sorting family plans, say, "Let's create a day we all love." This, we, framing unites everyone, reducing resistance and fostering collaboration. Handle pushback by reframing it as a shared challenge. If a colleague resists a plan, say, "Let's tackle this together to make it work." This turns opposition into a joint problem to solve, keeping the mood constructive. Research supports this tactic. Studies show that positive framing increases agreement rates by 15%. By presenting ideas as opportunities, you make others more willing to engage, like suggesting a plan that benefits everyone. Try this in small moments. Next time you're discussing dinner plans, frame your suggestion as a group win. "This place has something for all of us." This sets a collaborative tone, making agreement easier. In family settings, framing is powerful. Picture a debate over chores. Say, "Let's set this up so we all have more free time." This focuses on shared benefits, encouraging everyone to pitch in. Build this skill by experimenting with word choice. In your next talk, try 2 versions of a suggestion. One focused on loss, like, "We can't do that," and one on gain, like, "This option gives us more flexibility." Notice how the second lands better. Over time, framing becomes intuitive. You'll shape conversations, efforts, from family discussions to workplace talks, with words that inspire agreement. That's the power of framing. It's the art of steering talks towards success. Finding the we. Negotiations thrive on shared goals. Highlight common interests to turn you versus me into us. When sorting a family event, say, we all want a day that feels special. This unites everyone around a collective aim, fostering collaboration. Research shows shared goals boost agreement by 35%. Picture discussing chores with a roommate. Stress. We both want a space that feels comfortable. This shifts focus to teamwork, making solutions feel like a group win. Spot overlap in priorities. If a colleague values efficiency and you prioritize quality, propose, let's create something excellent without wasting time. This blends both goals, paving a shared path forward. Start talks by naming a common name. In a friend group planning, say, we all want this to be fun. This sets a collaborative tone, making everyone feel invested in the outcome. Reinforce the we throughout. When negotiating a favor, say, this helps us both out. This keeps the focus on mutual gain, reducing resistance and encouraging agreement. Practice by identifying one shared value in every talk. In a family discussion, it might be connection. Weave it in. Let's find a plan that brings us closer. This transforms talks into joint missions. Another technique is asking for input. When planning with colleagues, say, what's one thing we all want from this? This invites others to define the we. Strengthening group buy-in. Handle disagreements by returning to shared goals. If a partner pushes back on a plan, say, we both want this to work. Let's find a way. This refocuses the talk on what unites you, not what divides. Research supports this approach. Studies show that emphasizing common interests reduces conflict by 25%. By focusing on the we, you create a sense of partnership, like planning a group outing that everyone enjoys. Try this in small moments. Next time you're discussing a decision with friends, highlight a shared goal, like, we all want a great time. This sets a positive tone, making agreement feel natural. In family settings, this tactic is key. Picture a debate over holiday plans. Say, we all want to make memories. This unites everyone, encouraging compromises that serve the group. Build this skill by reflecting on past talks. After a discussion, ask, did I find a shared goal? If not, practice naming one next time, like, we all want this to be fair. This habit strengthens your ability to collaborate. Over time, finding the we becomes second nature. You'll spot shared interests in every talk, from family plans to workplace discussions, and use them to build agreement. That's the power of this tactic. It turns negotiations into team efforts. The gentle persuader. Persuasion sways ethically, blending logic and emotion. The principle of reciprocity works well. Offer something small first. When negotiating a favor with a neighbor, say, I can help with your yard if you lend a hand. This sparks goodwill, encouraging agreement. Studies show reciprocity increases cooperation by 40%. Picture planning a family trip. Offer to handle booking to encourage others to pitch in. Pair this with a story. Last time we planned together, it was a blast. Stories stir emotions, making your case stronger. Social proof is another tool. When discussing rules with a team, say, most of your friends follow similar guidelines, and it works. This taps into their desire to fit in, gently nudging them toward agreement. Use consistency to persuade. If a colleague values reliability, remind them, you always deliver, so let's set a plan we can both stick to. This aligns with their values, making your idea appealing. Practice persuasion with small gestures. In a group talk, share a relatable anecdote or offer a minor concession, like, I'll handle this part if we agree on the rest. This builds trust, guiding others naturally toward your idea. Keep persuasion ethical. Focus on mutual benefit, not manipulation. When discussing plans, say, this works for all of us. This keeps your influence genuine, fostering agreement without pressure. Another technique is appealing to values. If a partner values family time, say, this plan gives us more moments together. This connects your idea to what they care about, making it irresistible. Storytelling is powerful. When negotiating a group decision, share, I once saw a team pull this off, and it was amazing. This paints a vivid picture, inspiring others to buy in. Research supports this tactic. Studies show that emotional appeals, like stories, increase persuasion by 25%. By connecting with feelings, you make your case more compelling, like sharing a memory to win over a friend. Try this in small moments. Next time you're discussing a plan with colleagues, share a quick story about a similar success. This adds warmth to your pitch, making it more persuasive. In family settings, persuasion shines. Picture a debate over chores. Say, when we work together, it feels like a team. This appeals to shared values, encouraging everyone to contribute. Build this skill by practicing one technique at a time. Start with reciprocity in your next talk, like offering a small favor. Notice how it shifts the dynamic, making others more open to your ideas. Over time, gentle persuasion becomes a natural strength. You'll sway conversations, from family discussions to workplace plans, with a blend of logic and heart. That's the power of this tactic. It moves people without pushing. Smart compromise. Compromise is about giving to gain. Know when to yield and when to hold firm. If a partner wants a pricier outing, concede on costs but suggest a shorter trip. This balances their wish with your priorities, keeping the conversation collaborative. Data shows strategic concessions lead to 50% better outcomes. Picture splitting tasks with a colleague. Offer to take a less preferred role if they handle a key deadline. This give and take builds trust and keeps the bigger goal in sight. Prioritize your core needs. When planning with friends, you might let go of a preferred time to secure a location everyone loves. Frame it as, this way, we all get what matters. This keeps the mood positive and teamwork focused. Rank your goals before talks. In a family discussion, decide one area you can flex, like timing, to protect a bigger need, like connection. Compromise isn't loss. It's a step toward shared success. Handle pushback with grace. If a roommate resists a plan, say, I'm open to tweaking this if we can agree on the basics. This shows flexibility while staying focused on your core needs. Practice by reviewing past compromises. Did you give up too much? Too little? Adjust your approach to balance fairness and firmness. This reflection sharpens your skill for future talks. Another technique is offering options. When negotiating a family plan, say, we could do this one way or another. What feels best? This gives others a sense of control, making compromise easier. Research supports this approach. Studies show that offering choices in negotiations increases agreement by 30%. By giving others a say, you create a sense of partnership, like letting a friend pick between two fair options. Try this in small moments. Next time you're discussing a decision with a partner, offer a concession, like, I'm fine with your choice if we can agree on this part. This sets a collaborative tone. In group settings, compromise is key. Picture a debate over a group project. Say, I'll take on this task if we can align on the timeline. This shows you're willing to give, encouraging others to meet you halfway. Build this skill by practicing selective flexibility. In your next talk, identify one area you can concede, like a minor detail, to protect a bigger goal, like agreement. This habit makes compromise strategic and effective. Over time, smart compromise becomes a strength. You'll navigate conversations, from family plans to workplace discussions, with a balance of give and take that feels fair. That's the power of this tactic. It builds solutions everyone can embrace.